What is up, you guys? In today's video, I want to tell you why you want to own your vertical. And if you have no idea what that means, stick around because I'm going to tell you why it's so important and why it can make you an additional tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars this year in your handmade or your woodworking business. Let's dive in. Well, hey, welcome back. As always, so grateful for your time and your attention. I want to dive right into what it means to own your vertical inside of your handmade or your woodworking business. And listen, this really transcends all businesses, but I'm going to talk specifically around handmade and woodworking businesses. And so let me give you some examples of what it means to own your vertical. So you have raw materials that come into your business and you have finished goods that exit your business, right? So you have lumber, you have supplies, you have table legs that come into your business, and then finished goods leave your business, okay? So here are some examples of owning your own vertical inside of a woodworking business. Number one, owning your own sawmill and your own kiln and producing your own lumber. That's one example of owning your vertical. Number two is owning a lathe and turning your own table legs, making your own turned table legs. That's another example of owning your vertical. And then number three is doing your own metal work. You produce all your own metal work. And then also, let's say you own your own powder coating kiln or oven, you could do that as well. These are three examples of what owning your vertical looks like. Think about this for a second. Every time that you buy a product from another company, you're paying them for their expenses to build that product, but then you're also paying them for their profits. By owning your own vertical, you're essentially cutting out the middlemen. You're cutting out paying profits to other people when you could now get those same items that you need to produce your finished goods at cost. Quick example of that, let's say you want to buy a set of table legs for $200 from a vendor, but you learn how to produce these same table legs. Most likely you're going to save around $100 on that set of table legs, if not more, by producing them yourself. So I want to talk about the benefits of owning your own vertical, and I want to talk about the drawbacks or the challenges associated with also owning your own vertical. And when we say owning your vertical, imagine we have this mental image of this straight line up and down, and along the way from top to bottom you have raw materials and the process, and then at the bottom you have finished goods. For me, for example, it would be tables, chairs, benches, beds, those sorts of things, right? At the top is all your raw materials, your raw lumber, your table legs, your metal fabrication, all the different things that I outsource that I don't necessarily do in-house. So the benefits of owning your own vertical are that it lowers your costs dramatically. So let's say that, for example, right now, your costs are around 30% of everything that you sell, your material costs. So if you sell something for $1,000, it costs you on average around $300 to produce that $1,000 item. Well, by owning your own vertical, you can basically take all of your costs and almost cut them in half, okay? So by owning your own vertical, no longer is it going to be 30% material costs, it's going to be 15% material costs. It lowers your material costs dramatically. Number two, second benefit is it allows you to control manufacturing process, quality, and the timelines that you receive and get what you need for your orders. How many times have you guys ordered from another vendor and there's a giant delay or they can't get it to you for whatever reason, right? And so by owning your own vertical, it's going to allow you to control more of that manufacturing process and the timelines associated with it. It gives you creative flexibility. So like, imagine with me for just a moment that you had a CNC lathe. The CNC lathe turned your table legs. Well, you could enter in new designs into that CNC lathe all the time. You could be coming up with new things, dreaming big, creating all kinds of cool things. By owning your own vertical, it's going to allow you to do that. Same like if you owned a sawmill and a kiln. You could go find lumber, trees from anywhere, bring them to your mill, cut them, dry them, and then you could have access to just about any type of wood that you wanted, okay? Number four, this is a really basic one and simple one, but you get tax write-offs for buying all this new equipment. So if you own your own vertical, typically you're going to have to spend a lot of money up front to get into owning your own vertical, but you're going to get tax write-offs as a result of that. Plus you get assets added to your business. And when you look at your financial statement for your business, businesses that tend to have larger asset lines tend to sell for more money, okay? And then number five, this is what I think is one of the coolest benefits of owning your vertical, is that you can now sell those raw material type products to other makers like you across the country. So it not only is going to lower your cost dramatically, but it's also going to open up the potential for an entirely new stream of revenue for your business. Now, I'm not just a table company that sells finished tables, but since I own that vertical, I can sell all the things at the top of that vertical to other makers like me. Really cool benefit of owning your vertical. Here are 4 challenges associated with owning your own vertical. So number one, I mentioned this earlier, but high upfront expenses. It's going to cost a lot to get into some of this equipment that would be necessary for you to own your own vertical. But when you look at your cost savings over a prolonged period of time, 12, 18, 24, 48 months, it always works out financially. It's just, do you have the capital and the cash up front to get into that? Okay. Number two, the second challenge is that it's another thing to manage. It's another thing that's going on. It's another piece of machinery. It's another part of your business. And a lot of times businesses that can keep it simple succeed wildly. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't check out, owning your own vertical, but most of the time, unless you're ready for it, unless you have staff and you have A player staff, jumping into owning your own vertical can kind of be a challenge from a logistical standpoint inside your business. So number three, third challenge associated with owning your own vertical, you have to learn how to actually operate the equipment, right? So there's a learning curve associated, because essentially that's an entirely new industry that you're tapping into. Let's say use lumber for an example, a sawmill and a kiln. Well, you have to actually learn all that there is to know about cutting and drying wood, when if you're just a table manufacturer, you don't have to know all that stuff. You just have to know, is this wood dry enough to build with? And that's about all that you need. Number four, the last challenge associated with owning your own vertical is that all this stuff takes up a lot of space. And so you're gonna need a lot of room for the new equipment, for the processes, for the systems, for the people associated with owning your vertical. So if this video is helpful to you, or if it's interesting or informational, let me know. Drop me a comment below. For those of you that are just getting started in your woodworking or handmade business journey, I've got a couple resources for you. Number one, I want you to check out my free ebook, and I want you to check out Handmade Hero Academy. You can dive into that for just $47 per month for just 12 months. All the information inside of the Handmade Hero Academy is what took my woodworking business to $10,000 to $15,000 per month. I packaged that, put it in this really affordable program that you can get into with a full money back guarantee. You want to check that out. Lastly, if you're a woodworking business owner that's doing $10,000-ish per month and are ready to scale, hit me up inside the Woodworking Business Accelerator link below. We're going to schedule a call, hop on a call, see if we can help. If we can, awesome. If not, we love you anyways. But with that being said, if you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do so. I'll see you in the next one.